Hey guys, and welcome to the next video. I'm Arias and I will show you today a strong and fun Tempest PvE build. I really enjoy overloading attunements and this build focuses on exactly that. It also utilizes the new and often underused weapon of Tempest, the Warhorn. Let's take a look at our gear. We go with full berserkers and for the armor the superior runes of Scholar. Our weapon will be the dagger in the main hand with a superior sigil of air, and our offhand will be a warhorn with the superior sigil of force. Backpack, accessories, rings, of course also berserkers. Now our specializations. We will go with fire, air and tempest. In Tempest you can also switch to Eye of the Storm in case you want a free CC break. It's quite useful, especially in certain fractals where you expect to be CC'd. Otherwise you just go with Unstable Conduit to get some more auras going. And now look at our other skills. As healing skill I suggest Arcane Brilliance for shorter fights and also because it is a blast finisher, which comes always handy. Another good skill is Wash the Pain Away. It's a great AoE heal and yeah, your allies will be thankful for that. In longer fights I would always take this one. Then I go with Arcane Shield, because it is first of all a stun break, and it blocks attacks, and since this build is having a dagger as main hand, we will be melee, we will be close to the danger, and yeah, as elementalist we are quite squishy, so I like to have that bit of extra defense. If you're dead you will not do any damage, so yeah, safety first. Then Lightning Storm, or better said Cliff of Storms. You want to use it in air attunement for the additional vulnerability and to be sure that the boss has always 25 stacks of vulnerability up. And then the Signal of Fire to boost our personal DPS. As elite I suggest the Cliff of Elementals because it's a nice DPS boost. If you need mobility you can also go for the Conjure Fire Greatsword. It helps you a lot with just being able to go quickly through stuff. So yeah, depending on situation, but in general I go with the Cliff of Elements. Alright, after we finished the basics, now some tips and explanations. Air 4 will not only pull enemies together, but also grant a nice amount of swiftness. Keep that in mind for running sections. While in water, you can increase your healing output with first using 5 and then blasting the created water field with number 3 to get more area healing. If your group needs more projectile defense, for example in the uncategorized fractal to fight the harpies, you should switch to Cliff of Storms for Aftershock to create magnetic auras for you and your team. In addition, you can use Earth 4 to gain a personal magnetic aura. This skill also buffs you and your allies with protection and prolongs current boons. Something often overlooked but also hard to master is the missile block of Earth 2. It is really short and needs to be timed very well to work. Fresh air is the trait which makes this build what it is. We are not only getting a ferocity buff for entering air, but also get an instant recharge of the attunement if we land a critical hit. This allows us to swap quickly out and back into air and use the overload way more often. This is the core mechanic for us. Now it is time to show you how it works and which skills to use. While I explain what we want to do, I will show you some gameplay of my daily fractal run with this build. Before I start with our rotation, I want to talk a moment about adopting a build in general. You should always focus on the boss or fight itself. Don't watch your skills to hit them as soon as they are ready if you are risking to die or get heavy damaged. A rotation is basically the best case scenario, but you will often fail if you blindly follow it. I think it is better to call it a priority list and treat it like that. Surviving is more important than damage. Okay, now to our priorities. We want to maximize the amount of air overloads. For that we start in air, overload it and switch afterwards directly into fire. Air should be recharged in around 1 second or even immediately thanks to fresh air. Then we switch back to air and overload it as soon as we can. That's the basic of this build. Now some advanced notes. When swapping to fire, you can use fire 5 or fire 3 if they are not on cooldown. They both deal a good chunk of damage. While in air and waiting for the overload, use 4 if the breakbar is not down yet. If 4 is on cooldown or there is no breakbar, use number 5 and then 1 till overload is ready. This is all you need for the damage part of this build. Now a little note to Cliff of Storms. Keep in mind that it changes depending on which attunement you use the cliff. For example, you can use the air one to create a lightning which will cause vulnerability to enemies, but you could also use it in earth attunement to create a sandstorm which will blind your foes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question, just leave a comment. If you liked what you saw, consider supporting this channel with a thumbs up or subscribe. See you guys in Tyria.